He wasn't supposed to be in this story, and yet he is a main character. He's a football player from humble beginnings in Ghana. No European team, no magazine covers, no highlight reels with millions of views. Matter of fact, he wasn't even supposed to start this match. When the team sheet came out, his name wasn't circled. Now, fast forward to June 23rd, 2026. The whistle blows and we're on the World Cup stage in Boston. On the other side, we've got England. Everyone knows them. They're a big household name. They are the team that is favored to win. All the stats gave them an 80% chance of winning, and Ghana, only 8% chance of winning. But then, for 90 minutes, Benjamin Asari stands in the gap, save after save after save. He refuses to be beaten. And when it was all over, 0-0, clean sheet. Nobody expected Ghana to make it, and yet, there they stood. I keep thinking about that, not the football. Yes, I'm super excited about that, but I'm really excited about what this shows about people. Somewhere right now, there's a version of you that you may have counted out. The version that exercises, the one that follows through, the version that has a dream that seems out of reach. Maybe, like the goalkeeper, that version of you is far more ready than you think. That, my friends, is what I'm talking about today. So let's get into it. Welcome to Fuller Living, your space for empowerment, inspiration, and practical health nuggets. Here you'll find relatable guidance that fits your everyday life as you journey to a fuller and healthier you. I'm your host, Dr. Ashitey. Let's dig in. Welcome back to Fuller Living, wherever you're listening from. Whether you're in Boston or Philadelphia, Toronto or Atlanta, Mexico City, Dallas, or maybe watching the World Cup from the comfort of your home. As always, I am so happy to have you here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I am really in a good mood if you can't tell already. And here's why. The World Cup is going on right now, and the team that I'm cheering on, Ghana's Black Stars, is doing something special. But here's my confession. When I actually sat down and asked myself, why am I so captured by this moment? It really isn't just about the goals, or really lack of, if we're being honest. It's not about the winning, more so about these three concepts that I want us to talk about. There's a coach who clearly cares about the team and the players. There are fans who are starting to rally behind the team in a way that I haven't seen in a minute. And there's a goalkeeper that nobody expected to do what he's doing right now. And the more that I sit with these three things, the more I realize that they really aren't just about football or soccer. We have a coach who cares, a community that's showing up, and an ordinary person that's rising to the occasion. Those three are the exact ingredients of how real people change their health and their lives every day. This is the kind of change that lasts. So today, I'm going to borrow from the World Cup moment and pull these three lessons together. Three lessons that science and behavior change keeps confirming over and over. By the end of this whole episode, I'm hoping that you're going to see your own health journey a little bit different. And maybe, just maybe, you'll realize that perhaps you've been playing this whole game alone and that you weren't really meant to do that alone. Let's start with the coach. Every great team has one. Someone on the sideline who can see the whole field, someone who believes in the players, sometimes even more than they believe in themselves. And here's something I've noticed in over a decade of practicing medicine. I know I don't look that old, but I am. But the people who make lasting changes to their health almost never do it completely alone. Somewhere in their story, there's a coach. Now, I don't mean a person with a whistle or a clipboard. I mean someone who's in their corner, like a doctor, like a health coach. It may be a therapist, it may be a trainer, Sometimes it's just a friend who checks in and asks you, hey, how are things going with your goal? Research backs this up in a powerful way. When people who simply have someone they're accountable to, someone who actually follows up, someone who checks on them, when people have someone like that, they're more likely to follow through. Think about that. They are the same person. They're the same person with the same goal, the same willpower. But the difference is whether someone is walking alongside with them. So, why does this work? Part of it is accountability. And we've talked about that on this podcast before. We tend to show up differently when we know someone is going to ask, how is it going? But beyond that, a good coach changes what you believe is possible. When you're exhausted, they remind you of why you started. When you start to slip, they don't shame you, they help you get back up. When you can't see your own progress, they're able to hold up a mirror to you and say, hey, look at how far you've come. I know I do this a lot in my clinic with my patients. And that's exactly what this coach is doing in the tournament. Walking into difficult situations, studying the team, giving the group of players the belief that they can stand head to head with the Giants. So here's what I want you to hear. You're not weak for needing a coach. In fact, the strongest, most successful people I know are the ones who intentionally surround themselves with people who are going to push them forward. Needing support is not a flaw in the plan. It is the plan. The second thing that's captured me is the fans. If you watched any of these matches, you've seen it. They've got the flags, the drums, the singing that never stops, a wall of people pouring everything that they have out into the team, willing and wishing them the utmost best. You can see what it does. The players start to run a little harder, they're digging deeper, they're finding that energy in the 75th minute, and when they shouldn't have. Something powerful happens when you know there are people behind you. And this isn't just a feel-good idea. This is a well-established finding in all of health science. Connection is medicine. Researchers have studied this for decades. And what they keep finding is that our relationships, our sense of belonging, it really affects our health in a very profound way. You gotta read up on the blue zones of the world where people live well beyond their 80s and live very healthy and well. People with strong social connections tend to live longer. They recover better from illness and they handle their stress more efficiently. But on the other end, it's also true that loneliness and isolation have become such a serious concern that public health leaders now talk about them in a way that we need to really pay attention to that as a major health risk. Chronic loneliness has been linked to higher rates of heart disease, higher rates of depression, and even death. Let that sink in. Being disconnected from other people isn't just sad. Over time, it can be genuinely harmful to the body. And here's where I think modern life has really tricked us. We are more connected than we are on our screens, but we are very lonely in our real lives. We carry our stress privately, we struggle privately, we try to fix our health privately and quietly, hoping that no one notices that something's going on. But here's the thing, let's think about the team again. Nobody expected those players to perform in an empty, silent stadium. We understand that instinctively. You need the support of the fans to keep you going. So why do we expect ourselves to transform our health or our lives in total silence or isolation? You were never meant to do this alone. You need your crowd. You need your people. People who cheer you on when you win, people who catch what's important, but people who are also there when things are not going great, when you're struggling. It's important to have our community. This brings me back to where we started, the goalkeeper. I love this part because here's the thing about Benjamin Asari. He didn't suddenly become great out of nowhere. He didn't just become great as soon as the spotlight got on him. He had spent years in Ghana's lower leagues. He had been in games that nobody was watching, at practices that no one was filming. He even suffered an injury that nearly put him out altogether. And I hear that some people even told him not to continue to play, to consider retiring, but he refused. He kept preparing quietly. And for a moment, he really didn't even have a guarantee that this would amount to anything, but he kept going. So when the moment finally arrived on the world's biggest stage against England, he wasn't pretending to be a great goalkeeper. He was simply showing up to the world who he was, who he had been all along. In his literal words, he said, "It is normal. I'm a football player. I just want to prove myself. That is my job, and I can do it." This points to one of the most important truths when it comes to behavior change. We don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our identity. Let me say that again, because this really matters. We don't rise to the level of our goals, no pun intended. We fall to the level of our identity. In other words, lasting change isn't really about motivation. It's about who you believe you are. Benjamin Asari believes he belongs on the world stage. So he prepared for it, he behaved like it, and he delivered it. So many people say things like, "I'm not a disciplined person. I'm not athletic. I'm not the kind of person who eats healthy." And therein lies the problem. That's where your identity is. If that's what your identity is, your behavior is always going to drift back to match it. But the reverse is also true. Every time you take a small, healthy action, every time that you walk, every time you drink that glass of water, you're not just doing that task, you're casting a vote for a new identity. You're telling yourself quietly, maybe I am becoming the kind of person that takes care of myself. And those quiet votes, they add up over time. So just like our goalkeeper, nobody saw the years of preparation. They only saw the big moment. So if you're listening to this and you've already counted yourself out, please don't. If you've decided that you're just not a healthy person, or you're just not someone who's consistent, or you're just not somebody who can do A, B, C, or D, I want to challenge you on that. You might just be a hero who hasn't had their moment yet. And the preparation for that moment, it starts with very small steps now. Start to make those steps now. So let's bring it all home. We've talked about 3 things: a coach who cares, a crowd that shows up, and the quiet preparation of a silent, unsuspecting hero. And in the same way that these 3 things can help the team punch above its weight, they can do the very same thing for your health. So here's our week's SMART goal. Remember, a SMART goal is a goal that is specific, it is measurable, it is achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So this week, I want you to recruit one person into your corner. You're starting to build your community. It's simple. Just choose one person that you trust, tell them one specific health goal you're working on, and ask them to check in with you during the week. That is one person, one goal, one check-in. Very simple, right? I know you can do it. Come on, you can do it. So for specific, you're going to tell one specific person one specific goal. For measurable, you're going to check in. Either it happened or it didn't. That's it. For achievable, it can be as simple as one simple text message. I know we can honestly do this. For relevant, you're starting to build support and accountability, and this is part of helping you have a healthier and fuller life. And for time bound, in 7 days, everybody can send one text or one phone call. Now, I know that for some of you, this one may feel uncomfortable. It can feel vulnerable to let someone in, but I want you to know that vulnerability, that's how you're going to start building your team. You're stepping out of the silent, lonely version of your health, and you're starting to bring people in where you have a coach, a crowd, and a reason to show up. Benjamin Asari, Ghana's goalkeeper, didn't make it alone, and neither should you. Let's recap. Today, we let a World Cup team teach us something about our own health. We've talked about a coach in your corner and how lasting change almost never happens completely alone. We talked about the crowd behind you and how connection is quite literally good medicine. And we talked about the unsuspecting hero, you, and how every small action is a vote for who you are becoming. A coach, the crowd, and the courage to surprise yourself. None of us were built to do this alone. Not the players on the field, and definitely not you. So here's what I'd love to know. Who's in your corner right now? And if the honest answer is no one yet, who can you invite to start helping you this week? Not tomorrow, this week. Well, tomorrow is included in this week, but you get what I mean. Let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your story. If this episode encouraged you, do me a favor. Please share it with someone. Share it with someone who's trying to get healthy. Share it with someone you care about. Share it with someone who doesn't even know they need to get healthier, because this may start to move the needle for them. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please take a second to subscribe, leave me your great review, and this is truly going to help more people find us. Don't forget, you're going to meet me at the same place, same time next week, where I'm going to bring you yet another impactful episode. As always, I can't wait to see you. Until next time, let's get to fuller living. Well, fam, that wraps up another episode of Fuller Living, where we talk about health in a bite-sized, relatable, practical, and fun way. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress one small step at a time while remaining consistent. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, share it with a friend who might need a little bit of inspiration, and leave me your 5-star review. And if you're in Dallas and looking for a new PCP, look me up at southwestfamilymed.com. I can't wait to meet you. Until next time, let's get to fuller living.